the rest of the world, but I only care about you. Andrew, not the world. So, your video on the topology of a swing out. Oy! That was interesting and correct and very fascinating for people that have brains like yours. But people who have brains like mine, oy, well, I mean, I understood everything that you said, but oy vey, that was a lot of information. One thing that I took from it was the linearness of the swing out, which is what you're trying to do, and if you're going around in circles and things like that. So if I have my thumb as a follow and my hand as a lead, I want a stretch to happen, just like this, to shoot it in that direction if you want the follow to go in that direction. So if I want it to go over there, I don't need to stretch it over here, otherwise I'm going to shoot myself in the face. And so you have the swing out, just like that. Follow goes in the direction that you stretch the opposite from. So you're stretching this way, the opposite direction that you want your follow to go when you're leading. But the funny thing is, when Lindy Hop started, it wasn't like that. It was more circular. If you watch the swing out videos of Hell's Poppin' or anything with Frankie Manning or Whitey's Lindy Hoppers, it's a lot of circular looking swing outs. But when the Whitey's Lindy Hoppers started performing on stage, stages that were smaller, they had to make it more linear to make it fit. Also, when the ballrooms got really crowded with people swinging out, it became more linear. It evolved. It was a dance that evolved with the music, evolved with the ballrooms, and evolved with the dancers. So it became a efficient, linear swing out kind of dance. A slotted dance. And also in the swing revival, it was a lot of ballroom dancers that could do West Coast, which is a highly slotted dance, and that affected it as well. So we have, and it is more efficient. It is easier and more efficient to use a slotted dance rather than the circular kind of Lindy Hop. One, for floor craft, and also for just conservation of energy, because it's really tiring to go around in a circle. So if you have stretch, boom, much more efficient for a swing out. But, just like a slingshot, stretch a slingshot, you can shoot something. An original slingshot was, in fact, a sling. A sling, like an old-fashioned sling that my dad made for me when I was a kid. I don't know why my dad knows how to make old-fashioned slingshots or knows how to use them really well, but oddly enough, he does. But what I want to show you is how you use it. Like a old-fashioned swing out, such as Frankie Manning used to do, where it's really rotational, but he would send his follows exactly where he wanted to go. So, it takes a lot more skill than a linear swing out. A linear swing out is simple, it's efficient, it's a lot easier, conserves energy, all that kind of stuff, which is why that's the way the dance has continued to evolve through the years. But an old-fashioned swing out works a lot like an old-fashioned slingshot, where you put it around in rotational motion and I did not break anything. I hit what I was going for, which was the couch. You use a sling in a linear motion, like Frankie Manning and the Whitey's Lindy Hoppers. Alright, so this week's video is going to be about my fake step. I have a step in Memphis that I tend to teach and prefer over East Coast Swing that has evolved to be called Josie's fake step. I don't like East Coast Swing. I think it's stupid. It's my opinion. I know that you, Andrew, hold it. That East Coast is stupid, because I remember asking you if you would teach it with me, and you said, I don't know that dance. So, I don't like East Coast Swing. The reason I don't like East Coast Swing is because it is a 6-count dance to 8-count music. It makes no sense. It breaks my brain. When I first started dancing, it didn't matter, because I didn't understand rhythm and I didn't understand music. And it was fine. But when I started trying to learn Lindy Hop, which is an 8-count, and started becoming more and more musical, East Coast got harder and harder because it didn't make sense. Now, the history of East Coast Swing is that in the early 30s, mid-30s, Lindy Hop became really popular. Now, prior to that, Lindy Hop was considered vulgar by the proper dance masters that were the ones that taught dance and decided what was okay and what wasn't, what was danced in classy ballrooms and what wasn't. And really the popular way of learning dance at that time was buying pamphlets by your favorite dance master, and you would cut out little feet and you tape them on the floor, and then you'd go, okay, this is what I'm doing. And you would learn the dances that way, or if you had the money, you would go to the studios. With Lindy Hop, you can't do that. There's so much room for improvisation, there's so much musicality, it's a dance. It's people going, yes! It was pandemonium and fun, and it became something. It evolved out of the music, and it evolved from the dancers' just joy to dancing. So when these dance masters looked at it and said, alright, this is becoming really popular, we've got to codify it so we can teach it, they took out most of its soul, and they codified it into East Coast Swing. I don't know why they made it 6-count, but they did. That's really where East Coast Swing comes from, I think. My book that I've read told me that, but I might be wrong. But that's the history, as I understand it, of East Coast Swing, is that it was an attempt to make Lindy Hop proper, which, oh boy, you can't really do that with Lindy Hop. Lindy Hop, in all of its awesomeness, cannot be tamed. So it's a tamed, dumbed-down version of Lindy Hop, and it doesn't make sense. So Josie's cheat step, which is my cheat step for faking Balboa and sometimes faking blues, is an 8-count step. It's rock, step, step, rock, step, step. You can rotate it, you can do it just side to side. You can even rock, step, step, and release, and then rock, step, step again, and it becomes a swing out with no triple steps. So I'll demo that in the studio real quick with Bethany. What I was talking about was my little cheat step. So Bethany, you can come help me with my cheat step here. This is Bethany, Andrew, you know Bethany, my lovely Bethany, and the rest of the world that might be watching this. This is Bethany. I'm going to be leading, which is not abnormal for me. So my cheat step, I'll cheat Balboa and blues with this. It's rock, step, step, rock, step, step, rock, step, step, rock, step, step, rock, step, step. We don't have to rotate. Rock, step, step, rock, step, step, rock, step, step, rock, step, step. I can do turns, rock, step, step, rock, step, step. I did that wrong, but that's okay. Doom, 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 back. That is my cheat step. There you go. And then come back. So that's Josie's cheat step. Rock, step, step, rock, step, step. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's an 8 count and it makes sense. And if we were to teach that to beginners rather than teaching East Coast swing, teaching them the swing out would be so much easier because it lends to that rhythm anyways. And you can just say, okay, go, you're rotating with this rock, step, step, rock, step, step. Now let the follow go. Oh, look, you just did a swing out. It's awesome. Does it have a name? Because I don't know if this has a name. I call it a cheat step because it's whenever I'm faking leading Balboa. That's what I do when I'm leading blues and I'm not feeling the groove and nothing's coming to me. That's the step that I default to, is that 8 count rock, step, step, rock, step, step. So I don't know if that has a name. Tell me if that has a name. That would be great.